Well, good evening, folks. Hope everybody's doing well. Yes, we're going at it again. So some of you probably are wondering, where the hell do I get all this energy to do this? I'm supposed to be 50 years old, right? I don't sleep like the rest of you. That's the secret. So we're going to talk a little bit about market wizardry and everything else. And to me, it highlighted this need to be a market wizard. I wanted to be what that title, Jack Swagger's book, I wanted to be that title in flesh. Now, I didn't tell everybody what I was trying to do, because if I told everybody what I was trying to do, they would have told me that I'm wasting my time, and or they wouldn't even understand it. Because most people, unless you are a trader, everyone we tell when we say we're investing in trading and day trading, right away they know you're off your rocker. There's something different about you. You're eccentric. And that's a nice way of saying you're fucking nuts for wanting to risk your money like this. You have to be a special type of person to believe in yourself doing this and making money. The average person just can't do that. So you should feel good about yourself because you're cut from a different kind of cloth. And when I was younger, I knew that about myself. I knew, even though I felt overwhelmed when I would blow my initial accounts, and I was frustrated because I wanted to just work right away, I'd go back to my notes and think, okay, what is I'm trying to do? Where am I going to focus? And I wanted to come up with these approaches that would zero in on very specific turning points in the marketplace. Because I knew, because of my personal losing trades, my stop loss would many times be the very turning point and the market would go the other direction. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if this is a net sum zero game, every loser, there's a winner on the other side of it. Okay. How on earth can I be using everything in these books, going from system to system, using everything? I followed these rules. I followed them. And they didn't deliver. So it made me wonder, if I'm this inconsistent as a new trader and I'm doing the same things over and over again, I need to come to a point where at the moment I feel like I need to be doing what these books tell me to do, I need to stop right then and there and flip the script. If I feel like I have to be a buyer based on that bullshit that I was looking at all those books and trying to utilize, stop. Look for what would exist at the opposite spectrum at that very moment. What signatures in price action would I see if I'm ready to take that trade? If I am committed emotionally and psychologically to follow the rule-based ideas that these retail concepts are supposedly teaching us, at the very moment that I have committed, I'm about to take the trade, then I have to stop. Turn everything upside down, quite literally. And then look for what it is in the chart at that moment. And that is exactly what I was doing on America Online when people were watching me on that message board run up trade after trade after trade, calling everything in advance. And anybody that would have did trade for trade, everything I said, would have done $90,000 in 1 month without any pyramiding. And that's what got my attention, or that's what got everyone's attention, and started following me. Like you're all following me now because you see me doing things with precision. Every single person that's came to me has come to me by way of seeing something I've done, or you were shared a video of me executing on something. And you noticed that that's something different. That's different. Sure, people buy and sell, they make money, it's wonderful. But they're not doing these same laser guided entry points, pyramiding and building up and building up and building up and going right to the same thing all the time. Targets filled, targets filled, targets filled. You're not seeing $15,000 max loss days in the same week multiple times. You're seeing levels, thought process, narrative, walking you through every individual candle, and the logic that it should deliver to. And it goes against everything that every book that I've ever purchased tells me. So I sat down, and the first thing I figured out was my Power 3. Larry Williams says he couldn't figure out how to buy below the opening price on bullish days. Nothing he had allowed him to do that. That's his words. Was he lying and he did it, surreptitiously in his personal trading? We got to take him at face value. He said he didn't. And that's what I did as a 20-year-old. He says he didn't. So that was a personal challenge to me. I'm going to conquer that for him. He was my hero. I wanted to do that and say, here, look, here's my contribution for producing all this material, who at the time, as a young man, I felt like he did this just for me. Like all the planets aligned. This was the answer to prayer, much like what all of you say about me. I was in awe of his works, his books, everything he did. I was not that impressed with his $10,000 to $1.2 million. I was not impressed with that, because I understand that that is absolutely nuts. That's not trading. That's gambling with charts. That's what that is. Anytime you're competing in a competition like that, the only thing you're showcasing is your ability to gamble. Now, if you want to have a competition where precision entries, lowest drawdown, accuracy, then absolutely, that's a trading competition. That's where world-class precision would shine. Because anybody can get lucky over leveraging accounts and doing dumb shit. If you've ever traded long enough with live funds, you probably experienced a run where you kept doing something too much leverage, too high of number of contracts or positions in Forex or shares in a stock. And you had this windfall victory. And you think to yourself, shit, if I could just do that like every other day, unrealistic expectations. So trading competitions, while they're wonderful, they're very entertaining, they're not really showcasing trading skill, because anybody can over leverage on one windfall price run. And Larry Williams even said that about himself in 1987. He caught a good lick in the marketplace. That was his exact words. So I never looked at that and said that was an inspirational thing to me. I mean, I have to recognize it. It's the longest standing record in Robin's Cup. No one's ever come close to it. But I was more impressed with his tools, how he utilized open interest and how he looked for accumulation and distribution. And his accumulation distribution formula, while it worked a lot as a commodity trader, I saw it, it was there. It made me think about measuring accumulation and distribution, whereas I never would have ever considered it had he never brought it up in his teachings. So it brought this insatiable desire for me to go in pursuing how to track these smart money traders. When I came up with smart money concepts, just like my name, Inner Circle Trader, Larry Williams as my initial mentor, and I call him my mentor because I subscribe to 90% of what he ever said. Now, I probably use about 4 to 3% of whatever he's used and taught in my own personal trading today. but you can see his fingerprints and his influence over me. And I have still a great deal of respect for him. I'm so thankful that he put his work out there, because he could have just said, fuck all of you, and I'm making my money and there it is. But it's a lot of money to be made when you're teaching. I've seen that. Lots of money. It's real easy money to do that. But you have to have something that's worth learning and you have to be able to show that it works. And that's one of the wonderful things I get to do with all of you. I show you real time. I call it live. I walk you through it minute by minute, and you see it every single day. But these tools, where he had his inner circle workshop, well, like I mentioned in Corb's interview, I've mentioned also in passing when I was on Baby Pips, when they were asking me where to get a name from. That inner circle workshop, I was like, shit, I didn't go to that workshop. I wish I could, but I'm going to be the inner circle trader. And now I am.